we pretty much left the country 2 years ago. For a band to stay around as long as we have, this is our 9th year as a professional group with albums out. And after that amount of time, you have to expect that some people are going to want you to take a break. And
or you break down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, after this amount of time, you really have to find other places to play.
No gratitude need be voiced. Your mind speaks to us.
Welcome everyone to Kiss Meets the Podcast 4K, the crazy Kiss Countdown. I'm one of your hosts, Sir Eli.
And I just like to give all of my Facebook friends a shout out and tell you that I don't give a crap at all about Eminem, MGK, or Nike.
Amen.
Sheesh.
And look who's back with us. It's Steve McGowan.
Hey!
Iced our shirt and all.
Yeah, see that.
So, this week we are here to do Music from the Elder. Of course, maybe one of the most controversial, if not the controversial album in all the Kiss catalog. The closest thing Kiss ever got to prog rock on top of that as well. But there is a lot to talk about with this, and we just had a lot of recent developments pop up with some past episodes, so there's a lot to get into. We don't want to waste too much time. Plus, everyone's on a bit of a time frame tonight, so let's just get into it and not waste any time.
All right, so comments on past episodes. So I'll condense this. Jay Rucker, who you guys probably all remember, has been giving us some votes over the past weeks. He gave us his picks for the 70s albums in a row. He's been awesome, basically, getting us all his stuff in time for us to use them. And man, did he drop a bomb on us, giving us his rankings for every single album from the first album clear up through Love Gun all at once. So I won't go through all of those. That would take a huge amount of time. But make sure you take a look at the game board real close this time because some big stuff got changed. One of the most surprising to me, and by the way, moved again, and my TV is now up here instead of over there. So I'm looking up. That's why.
And Luke now has real internet again.
Yay!
Up your nose.
So anyway. The biggest upset is for the Love Gun album, which not only got knocked down to an overall ranking of 9.42, whereas before it was at a 9.5, but I Stole Your Love stole first place from Shock Me.
Wow.
Yeah. So and stuff like that happened all throughout the other albums. I wish I remembered a little better.
So did that Shock Me in second place now, or did it knock it completely out?
No, it's I Stole Your Love in first, Shock Me in second, and Love Gun in third.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh. So that was definitely interesting. Actually, Rock and Roll Over, Hard Luck Woman got knocked down to third place, whereas it was in second. It swapped places with I Want You. So lots of different stuff there. So thank you again, Jay, for your input there. And holy crap.
Yes, much appreciated.
Yes.
So I'll make sure to leave the game board up a tad bit longer this week so everyone can kind of really note the changes, and maybe we'll get into them a tad bit more next week when we have a little extra time.
Indeed. And know this now, because this proves that if anything does, Gene and Paul, while you're watching these, and nobody burst my bubble, I know they do, your medals aren't safe.
I will go out on a limb and say there is a slight chance that Ace may take this one.
Yeah, I can
never know. What if Escape from the Island wins? Who do we give it to?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Oh, all right. So, back on the Peter Criss episode, we had a Robbie Stars comment pop up a couple of days ago that says, "I always thought You Matter to Me could have been on the Grease soundtrack." I can totally see it too.
Again, another tidbit from the Lydia book, which I seem to keep throwing in every week. Speaking of that album, apparently that song was written for her, You Matter to Me, and she was very underwhelmed about it. She's like, "Oh, really? I matter to you? Jeez, ooh, thanks." You know, she's like, "He writes a song like Beth, didn't even use my name. Now he writes this and just tells me I matter to him." Yeah.
Wow, that's funny. Oh, geez. All right, so jumping up to Dynasty, we got a couple new comments on Dynasty. One from JT Bosch. Eli, I don't know if you saw this, but JT wants to be on the Revenge episode.
Oh, sweet, yeah. I did not see that. We will definitely get in touch and set that up. That might be another episode that we have quite a few people on, so
I think so, yeah.
we'll see what happens by then.
If there was any tour that should have been dubbed The Return of Kiss, I think we can all...
Mhm.
Exactly, yeah.
And,
Okay.
and not to jump ahead too much, and I know a lot of people tend to call that like Destroyer 2 or whatever. I personally don't think it is. To me, it's Creatures of the Night Part 2 is what Revenge is to me. Just
For
something, just something that popped in my head the other day.
Yeah. I think they liken it to Destroyer just because of Bob Ezrin, you know?
Right.
So we also got Robbie Stars commenting on the Dynasty episode. And he says, "Another great episode, guys, and I love the way you talked about each song and how hard it is to rate these songs because all are good tunes. When Dynasty came out in 1979, I was 7 and loved it to death. I did take notice to the change in their sound and what they were going for then in the likes of Foreigner, Eddie Money, The Cars, and bands that were getting radio play. It's hard to pick a favorite song. It's between Magic Touch, Charisma, and Dirty Livin'. To me, this, Love Gun, and their debut are the strongest up to this point, and might be the best in their catalog, in my humble opinion. But we'll see as yous get into the 80s albums now. I will rate Dynasty a 9. There's just a couple Kiss albums that are better than this one. Maybe Unmasked is better? We'll see soon. Rock on, guys." Okie dokie. Unmasked. Couple of comments on this already. Come to think of it, it is telling me there are 4 comments, but I only see 3.
One may be flagged for review.
That could be.
Sometimes that happens for whatever reason. Maybe it's another troll comment.
That could be. I actually saw, you remember the comment a few episodes ago where a guy was asking how he can hear our band.
Yeah.
Marty White was harassing him again. So, good old Marty White.
What did he say?
He corrected the guy's grammar.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy. Okay, so Robbie Starr is commenting on the Unmasked episode. He says, "Thanks, dudes, for adding your input with your favorite 70s albums. Also enjoyed this episode with Unmasked, as it is definitely in my top 5 Kiss albums. Here's my Unmasked songs, Like to Love." He did give us a list, which I went in and added. It didn't end up changing our top 3 or anything. At number 11, You're All That I Want. 10, Two Sides of the Coin. 9, She's So European. 8, Torpedo Girl. 7, Easy As It Seems. 6, Shandy. 5, Talk to Me. 4, Is That You. 3, Tomorrow. And 2, What Makes the World Go Round. And he notes, it's just too dang catchy and the guitar solo is solid. And in his number 1 spot, Naked City. He says that's his favorite Gene song, tied with Deuce and Almost Human. He also gave us his 70s albums order, which goes Peter solo, Ace solo, Paul solo, Gene solo, Alive 1, Rock and Roll Over, Destroyer, Alive, Hotter Than Hell, Dressed to Kill, Double Platinum, Dynasty, the debut album, and in his number 1 spot, Love Gun. And he says the Elder episode should be interesting and fun. Can't wait. Rock on, Kiss Maniacs.
Is that the end of the comments?
Not quite.
All right.
We've got Jay Rucker commented here and wanted us to make Double Platinum his number 13 album in the 70s albums. He didn't think he needed to put it on there because it was the greatest hits. But the true moment we've all been waiting for is the continuation of Javier Boster's story. So he comments here on Unmasked. "I can remember first seeing Unmasked at the mall. The comic strip cover totally caught my attention. I thought it was the coolest idea ever. I was sure that the comic strip story would continue on the inside dust jacket, but to my dismay, that was not to be. How could the last panel of the comic strip end with the reporter saying that they stink? Well, that was easily explained once I heard the LP from beginning to end. Once again, my band releases an LP that I was not happy with. What is going on with these guys, and why are they releasing so many wimpy tunes? I realized then that the dangerous band I fell in love with was gone. In my opinion, the band I was hearing and looking at was nothing but caricatures of themselves that deserved nothing more than being the opening act for Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. That's amazing.
Wow.
So, woo, buddy.
You know, I did some more research about the whole, you know, the poster and how there's like these, you know, Easter eggs and or whatever. And yeah, some of it seemed believable, but some of it seemed a little far-fetched. It's like some of the stuff they were reaching for in it. But
Right.
I was like, man, I wish that had come up before we had done the show, so I could have included that in the episode and all. But hey,
Right.
it's interesting.
It is. So yeah, again, I gotta say, man, I look forward to reading Javier's comment every single week. It's like reading somebody's Kiss story biography or something, you know.
By the end of this whole thing, we can create a book out of his comments and release it.
This is this chapter is the dark period, apparently. I'm telling you what.
The chapter for Unmasked is called The Muppet Show.
Yes. Somebody needs to redo the Unmasked cover, but it's all Dr. Teeth instead of Kiss.
That would be great. Absolutely.
Yes. All right, so ready for some Elder album information?
Let's go. Let's not keep them waiting.
All right. So, music from The Elder, which is the 9th studio album released by Kiss, was released on November 10th, 1981.
Kiss album. Music from The Elder. World without heroes. The legend of The Elder. Conceived, written, and performed by Kiss on Casablanca Records. The new Kiss album. Music from The Elder. Available at J&R Music World, $5.99 LP or tape.
It was recorded from March to September in 1981. Finally, a more normal-looking album amount, you know. Produced by Bob Ezrin, which a lot of you will know he also produced Destroyer, and I think that was kind of the idea, is that they were a bit worried about where they were going to go next, and they thought, well, Bob did us good last time, let's go with him again. Especially considering this is the first album to officially include Eric Carr as the drummer instead of Peter Criss. We got A World Without Heroes, I, and The Oath, all released as singles. Let's jump down here. This album got only to 75 in the U.S. Billboard charts. Wikipedia, for some reason, doesn't seem to say whether this album even went gold. Surely it did.
I don't think it did.
Oh, well, that would explain what it doesn't
I
say.
don't think it did. It was their worst-selling album.
Wow. Yeah, actually the very first sentence on the Wikipedia description is that this album sold so poorly, Kiss just didn't go on a tour for the first time in their career.
Right. Yeah, closest thing we got was those TV appearances and, what was it, Fridays, and I can't think of the other ones right offhand, but...
As far as personnel goes, we've got Paul Stanley doing rhythm guitar, vocals, lead guitar on Just a Boy, A World Without Heroes, and The Oath. Actually, I did not know he did those leads on The Oath. I thought that was Ace. Ace did lead guitar, vocals, and bass on The Oath, Dark Light, and Under the Rose, and it also lists acoustic guitar on A World Without Heroes and backing vocals. Gene Simmons listed as bass guitar, vocals, and rhythm guitar on Only You. Eric Carr listed drums, percussion, backing vocals, and acoustic guitar on Under the Rose. Also, Bob Ezrin, of course, being the producer, also did keyboards and bass guitar on Escape from the Island. Alan Schwartzberg did the drums on Odyssey and I. Tony Powers did keyboards on Odyssey. And then we've got the American Symphony Orchestra and the St. Robert's Choir helping out on this one.
Kind of a bummer that it wasn't Eric on I, because I always thought it was. But Alan Schwartzberg, I mean, no slouch himself. I mean, probably the most notable thing was, working with John Lennon and, playing on a bunch of his, iconic songs. And, he's done countless other sessions. So,
yeah.
Overall with this album, I don't really like the drum sound. It's, it's so... It's just lacking. Like the kick drum, you have to have like a decent enough system to actually be able to hear it, because all you really hear is the low end. And it kind of in a way reminds me of how Metallica, Justice for All, it's like you don't hear the bass, and then with this it's like you hardly hear the drums. And what little bit you do, it's not the greatest. And
yeah,
and it just made me wonder why they were mixed that way, or was it sort of like an intentional hazing type of thing also, or...
I don't know. I know that Bob Ezrin has gone on record several times saying that even he doesn't like the mix of this album, that he was doing way too much cocaine and marijuana, I guess, too. I think the Behind the Mask book, he talks about that a little more, about how he wishes that he could go back in time and at least be sober for long enough to make that album, because it was such what they wanted to be an important thing, and he kind of felt like he ruined it,
Right, true, true. But, I mean, hey, going on, once Killers came and all that, it's like it suddenly improved, and, Eric really got to show his drumming, so.
Yeah. So we also, real quick, we've got Dad's picks for this album, and then we should be able to get right into it.
All right. All right. I'll just say again, I feel like I'm starting to sound like a broken record because I say it so much. But again, after the top three, I was really struggling. I was sitting there. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to come up with number 4, because I kept just staring at the other songs and man, I like this one and this one. It's like, how do I order them now?
Yeah. I opened this up today, and apparently I had already ranked these at some point. I didn't remember having done it, and I scrapped it. I looked over it, I'm like, nope, I scrapped it and did it again.
When this album first came out, when I first remember it came out, it was like a surprise to me. I just happened to stumble on it at a record store. And not knowing and understanding when it said music from the Elder, I thought, what's going on here? Is this like a movie soundtrack or something? I really didn't understand what was going on. But I got the album for Christmas. And what's strange about the record is the lineup of the songs are not in the right order on the record. And it's like, you drop the need on the first song you hear is The Oath, and it's just like that ripping guitar sound coming out right off from the beginning, and you're thinking, yes, Kiss is back, this is awesome. And the rest of them, you're like, huh? What happened? And it just, then the gatefold, nothing in the record has no pictures of Kiss, what they're looking like, or nothing at this moment, because I think, I don't even think they were exposed themselves at that time when this album came out. Yeah, I don't think, what the costumes and everything. But, years later, when I've got the Japanese import of this CD, and when they put it in the right order on the Japanese import, it made perfect sense. It was like a better understanding about the whole concept of the album than what the it was itself when it came out. It was just so crazy. It's like, why did it not do this right the first time? It would have made better sense to me, you know?
Yeah, because I happened to put it on the other day, and it was the vinyl version with the incorrect sequence, and, you know, and what was it, like, at the end of Dark Light, you know, when Blackwell's starting to come in, you hear that at the very end, and then it just suddenly cuts off, and then goes into, I think it's Only You on the vinyl. But yeah, once they finally fixed that, yeah, it totally opened it up. And
makes sense. I mean, right from the beginning, Fanfare, right to Just a Boy. I mean, it was such a better flow and understanding, you know.
And then what is it? Is it Odyssey? They kind of do the little Just a Boy reprise in that song too, so you know, tying it all together. And I feel like if they had put the image of them on the album, whether it was front, back, or something, maybe it would have helped sell a little bit more. You know, just
maybe
that much. You know, a photo probably would have helped it sell a little more just based off of that.
Something.
But I agree. It's like, it's crazy how there's nothing on it. I mean, again, you got something a little different as far as Kiss, you know, that inner sleeve that's, you know, clear, and, you know, it's all printed on there. The label's kind of different with the hand. And now I know there was a, I believe it's Netherlands, there's a version overseas that came with a poster, and it's pretty much similar to the photo that's on the Killers cover. It's like that same photo session. And there's actually two different versions. One's inverted, where Paul's star's on the wrong side, and then there's the other way. And it's like impossible to find. I've been looking for that poster forever. Can't find it. I happen to have the record, and it's not even a gatefold, which is another crazy thing. And it's on the Casablanca, I believe it's the Filmworks label.
Ow.
But I cannot find that poster to go with it, and that's like one of the things I want the most right now.
So I read a few things in that Julian Gill book that I had never heard before about this, that kind of shed some light. You guys know that they had intended to make a movie out of this, and a script does exist, and it got sold at an auction. And that Julian Gill book about the Elder has an interview with the guy who bought the script, who talks a little bit about it, and that guy mentions that having the script for the movie, suddenly the album becomes much more of a concept, because as far as story goes, it's pretty hard to follow, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
What really happens, and there's two reasons for that. One is because, well, they intended for this movie to explain it better, and he said having the script, suddenly, yeah, everything makes sense, the songs make sense. Second of all, one of the reasons that it doesn't seem to have an ending is because this was supposed to be the first of 3 concept albums that were all going to be The Elder, and after this one flopped hardcore, they just didn't bother doing the others. You know?
Right. Especially when it drove Ace out of the band. I mean, they would have changed the dynamics just like it did with the next Kiss album after that. So
sure.
But and of course there was that high school that created that whole play based off The Elder, like did a whole production. I think it was like late 80s, early 90s. I'm pretty sure it's out there on YouTube. I've seen it floating around, and it's interesting to watch and see them put their take to it. And but it's kind of similar with Phantom. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was cut out of that. If you see the script as well, and it just kind of, and just reading those lines, it kind of makes the movie feel different. I know I'm backtracking and all that, but just kind of similar with that whole, how much difference having a script and reading it, can change things.
Right.
There's actually a video on YouTube of some guy that, I guess he actually was trying to make a movie out of this album.
Yeah.
It's like a trailer or something he's put together, or a clip, or
Yeah, I kept hearing that someone was going to finally do the movie, and I've been hearing this now for at least 5 years, so I don't know what's going on with that. It's definitely something we would all like to see.
Right.
All right. Well, let's get into the rankings.
Indeed. Let me get Dad's here. So Dad says, this came out at a time that I was discovering there was a lot of music out there that I've been missing. I think I remember seeing this record on the shelf at the store, and with the memory of Unmasked still fresh in my mind, just passing it by. I had no idea that it was anything different from just another Kiss album. A guitar student of mine gave me a cassette of The Elder in the early 90s, and that was the first that I had heard anything on it. So for overall rating, he gave it a 6. And let's see, in the number 11 spot, Fanfare. Number 10, Just a Boy. 9, Only You. 8, The Oath. 7, Under the Rose. 6, Escape from the Island. 5, Odyssey. 4, Mr. Blackwell. 3, I. 2, Dark Light. And his number 1, A World Without Heroes.
So, Fanfare and Just a Boy, we'll just call that number 10, because I consider that, it's like Fanfare / Just a Boy. Those are like kind of one track, I guess.
Oh, crap. All right.
Is that how we're doing that? 'Cause I mean,
that was how I did it, because, I don't know, I mean, it's just a little, basically it's just like an interlude piece. I mean,
okay.
I didn't think it would make sense to call it a separate track. All right, Steve, kick us off.
All right. Well, I guess what would be my number 10? Is that how would be number 10 then? Fanfare, Just a Boy. Yeah, just a simple little song, you know. And I mean, just no reason. I mean, there's better songs on there than that, but I just picked this at number 10.
Who steers the ship through the stormy sea? If hope is lost and so are we, while some are search for one to guide us, some are staring at me. But I'm no hero, though I wish I could be. For I am just a boy.
My number 10 on this one, Only You. And this is basically based on annoyance. Gotta love we always have that one that's based on annoyance. I don't know, this one just never sat quite as well with me as the other ones. It almost feels like it doesn't fit on there somehow.
My number 10 is Odyssey. Honestly, you know, listening to this whole thing again, you know, just recently as a couple days ago, this was the song that I kind of lost that attention span on. And it felt like it was a little hokey at times. I mean, the whole reprise of Just a Boy part, that's kind of cool. It definitely gives it that kind of, you know, show tune type feel to it, you know, how they always do reprises. And yeah, just that was the song that did the less for me on this most recent listen. So number 10.
My number 9 is Escape from the Island. Nothing wrong with this song. I love this song. I love it musically. And I mean, it was actually nice to actually hear Eric Carr somewhat, to hear what he sounds like. And I think this song kind of gave him that open chance out of all the songs on here. And now just recently finding out that he didn't play on I never knew that. But to know that he's on the lead song Escape from the Island,
Right.
kind of gave you a better idea of what he's about as a drummer. So
Yeah, I felt like that was his best opportunity to really show what he can do.
yeah,
So, I mean, you know, people kind of got a taste, you know, of what people got to see him on the Unmasked tour and, you know, with him doing a solo and whatnot. So that was really a good way to open it up, you know, broadly.
And it's too bad, speaking of that they didn't end up using, you know, Breakout or Heaven or Car Jam 1981 or whatever you want to call it, because that would have been recorded right around this same time.
Yes.
And we basically didn't hear the Eric version until after he had died. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been a much better fit, I think.
My number 9 here is I, actually. And yeah, it's kind of similar to what you were saying, Eli, for Odyssey. It just happened to be this most recent listen through that this one sort of just lost my attention in comparison to the others. I don't know what it was. And yeah, honestly, finding out that Eric didn't play on it was a blow to me for a long time. Same with Odyssey. Just this weird, because I remember in that Behind the Mask book, Bob Ezrin says that for some reason Eric just wasn't able to get the groove down. And personally, I just don't believe that for a second, you know?
Yeah, I don't either, because, I mean, we have plenty of video proof of him doing that song live, you know, as far as those TV shows. And, I mean,
Right.
to me, it sounds just like the album. That's why I was like, what? It's not Eric?
Right.
So, I'm piggybacking here with Steve, number 9, Escape from the Island. You know, when it comes down to it, Kiss is just not an instrumental type of band. They're, you know, with Love Theme from Kiss, you know, I don't hate that one, but it's, you know, I could do without it. And it's just, you know, it's, you know, to me, doing the instrumentals, that's like stuff for, like, you know, Yes or Rush and, you know, that kind of stuff. And I know this was as close as they got to Prague, but it just didn't do anything. It was a little too short, you know, not enough to it. Maybe if they had gone off into some crazy, you know, something that Kiss had never done before, and it was like, whoa, like, that is really cool, you know, like some shocking thing, or if they had let Eric go into more of a car jam type thing or some sort of solo, that maybe that would have helped it. But yeah, it's just I could really do without it, to be honest.
Number 8. I believe in me. Yeah. I like the song. It was really nice to hear Paul and Gene again sharing a song, like shout it out loud. And I think the only problem I have with this song is I remember seeing them on Solid Gold. I don't know if you guys probably don't remember the show Solid Gold back in it. You may have.
Yeah, I remember.
But they were lip singing to this song, and it was just the, you know, where the dun, dun, and it was just like, oh, they were just messing it all up, but, you know, just would not paying any attention. And it just, and I think that image of that of that and hearing that song, it always takes me back to that moment, and it's like, yeah, it kind of ruined it for me. That's the only reason. I mean,
how about when the music video finally surfaced and they're like riding on people's shoulders and everything? And
oh yeah.
This like
was that the video with Dot Ace? There was that Studio 54 or something.
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But then when the official video came out, it was you could tell the crowd was just like a bunch of people they just brought in like that had no clue, and it was just so hokey. But
yeah,
that was the early '80s in rock, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was. That's true.
My number 8, Mr. Blackwell. And I would totally put this song way higher if it weren't for that intro. I don't know why the intro just kills it for me. It feels like the album stops dead. I like the idea of it because how often do you hear just bass in Kiss? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's not until the song proper kicks in that this song really starts to catch me.
My number 8 is Under the Rose. You know, pretty epic song. It's, excuse me, that whole chorus section, you know, it's real huge and definitely proggy, and I feel like it does go well with Only You. It's, you know, those two are sort of meshed together in a way, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's another good Paul song, and it's just an overall good song. I really have no cons about it, just where it happens to rank.
Oh, by the way, Under the Rose is a Gene song.
No, it's not. You sure? I thought, no, Only You. Only You is the Gene song, and then Under the Rose is Paul, right?
No.
Yeah.
He sings both? What am I
think he
thinking?
does. Eli's doing crack.
Only you, Paul and Gene, they share that song too. Paul and Gene do on Only You.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because Paul sings like the end of Only You.
See, I'm thinking because the chorus of Under the Rose, it's so Paul heavy. That's why I think it's a Paul song. Like, you know, oh, sacrifice. Wow, I'm an idiot. Now I got to pull it up.
Way to go, man. Oop, here, I got you.
Totally Paul.
You're right.
So my mistake, it's a Gene song, but that chorus is what was stuck in my head, so to me that's... So Paul owns that song regardless of it being a Gene song. But for this intent and purposes, it's a Gene song, but the best part of the song is, screw it, it's my number 10 now.
You gonna throw a notebook?
Yeah, let me hear it in the comments. I know, it's coming. All that chubbiness is getting to my brain.
Oh, Steve, did you get to watch the Unmasked episode yet?
Yeah, I have.
Did you hear the comment about you just for some reason throwing a notebook? Even
Yeah.
though, you know what?
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I got done hanging up my Leif Garrett and Andy Gibb pictures. Okay.
Yes.
At least, I mean, that has more credit than that Earth shirt, but I mean, okay.
Yes.
God, where are we at now? This whole show just fell apart.
We're losing control here. Number 7, Mr. Blackwell.
It's a good thing we played a mental health awareness show last week.
You're right.
What's that?
It's a good thing we played a mental health awareness show last week because I'm definitely in need of that.
All right, number 7 is Mr. Blackwell. Love this song. I mean, it's just so dark. I mean, this is like the side of Gene we haven't seen in a while. Actually, there's a lot of these songs on this album to me is the side of Gene we haven't heard in a long time. You know,
Except for Under the Rose.
Are you sure?
But I like the darkness and the heaviness, and then you can just picture. I mean, you get the whole visual to me in this song, what's going on at this moment, and I mean, it just. I really do like the song. I mean, it just for what it is.
If any song calls for a scene to be over it in a movie, it's this one. And for me, it's like you could just get so many images.
Yeah.
I picture something like the that Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band movie with the Bee Gees. It needs to be that. It just needs to be the whole song with the stuff.
Have Alice Cooper playing Mr. Blackwell.
There you go.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh man. All right. So my number 7, and don't kill me. It's Dark Light. The only thing that kills this song for me is Ace talking the verses. I can't take it. That bothers me. But I love how it kind of breaks down in the middle to where it's just like drums and percussion and Ace just wailing.
Yes.
You know, that is awesome.
You know, I gotta say, like, after hearing the demo, I'm glad they changed it to this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't run, and it just, it made no sense. My number 7 is World Without Heroes, sung by the great Peter Criss, of course.
Let him to come back and guest vocal on that.
Man, yeah, you know, it's a good ballad. You know, of course, the video is classic with Gene and his fake tears at the end, and seeing Ace play an acoustic for the first and last time in Kiss, and again, it was more for the visual because again, it was one of the few things we got to see, and you're just kind of like focusing on that video the whole time, like looking for every detail of what they look like and costume wise and everything, and Paul and his purple headband and all that stuff. But it's a pretty good ballad. I agree as far as when we talk about the sequencing, because on the vinyl version this starts side 2, which it's like, why? After Only You and Under the Rose, and then you flip it over and it's World Without Heroes right away. It's like, no. So yeah, number 7.
Number 6. Mine is World Without Heroes. Basically what you pretty much said. The video, seeing the video for the first time, and seeing Ace playing an acoustic guitar and Paul taking the lead, and great ballad. Love the song, love the lyrics in it.
Now, wait a minute. So I forgot to say, isn't this the song that Lou Reed co-wrote with him? Or what song was that?
I think you're right. Let me look that up again.
What was it that Lou Reed did what?
Co-wrote the song. It was either this or maybe it was Mr. Blackwell.
Oh, wow. I'm not sure.
Geez. It was Dark Light.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. Oh, and, A World Without Heroes 2, and Mr. Blackwell. Okay, so you were right still, but also Dark Light, apparently.
I was right about something.
Yeah.
Man, I would never thought Dark Light.
I wonder if...
lyrics. He wrote the original demo lyrics for it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm thinking.
No, let's go with that.
That's what I'm thinking, because as horrible as that original version is, I'm personally not the biggest Lou Reed fan anyway. I think he's highly overrated. Talk about talking your vocals and whatnot.
You're right.
Right.
All I gotta say is Lulu with Metallica, but I digress. Where are we at? Luke, is it your number 6?
Yeah. So I'm actually matching my dad on this one with Escape from the Island. And I enjoy the song overall, which is why I think it's a little higher on my list. But no, I completely agree with what you guys were saying about, this Kiss doing an instrumental track is weird. And being a huge progressive metal and rock fan myself, the song's just not quite interesting enough to not have words,
Yeah.
It's good, but it could have benefited from some more different stuff.
Right, and when it seems like it might kind of start picking up, it's like all of a sudden it ends.
Right.
It's like, really? Number 6 for me is Only You.
I'm like a step behind him right now. It's like...
Yeah, so... Another one of the great Gene songs on the album.
Well, I thought Vinny did this one.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Only You number 6, yeah. That's all I gotta say.
He got a lot of mosquito bites on the head, straight to the head last weekend, so...
Straight to the dome.
Right in the blood loss. You should have introduced yourself as Captain Bloodloss for this.
Well, it's out of frame, but I made a cocoon in my closet over there, so...
Where are we at? Number 5? Only You. Like I said, I'm like a step ahead of him, it seems like right now, the last 3 or 4 songs.
Steve got a lot of mosquito bites on his head, too.
But, Only You, good song. I like once again, the Paul and Gene mix up in the song. Yeah.
Only that for Only You. My number 5 is Odyssey. And this one actually did end up coming quite a bit further up my list than on my original ranking. just because of this listen through. I don't know. I liked how Just a Boy and Odyssey kind of went together on this. It struck me in that special way.
Like a special episode of Barney.
Yeah, you bet. Oh, nothing better.
My number 5 is Dark Light, not Don't Run. Oh man. Again, it's that Ace songwriting style that I've come to love in these recent few albums. The way he started changing his writing style, and I don't know. I kind of like the lyrics. The way it's just like him sort of talking, and then the little riffs here and there, and again that solo section is just a great piece. Yeah. You almost think it's Anton Fick again when you listen to that song, as far as drumming, but not this time. And yeah, it's unfortunately the last song we got from Ace until again Psycho Circus. But I felt like he went out on a little bit better of a note than what Peter did with Dirty Livin'. But and again, it's unfortunate that they never really got a chance to perform this live, and even on the appearances that they did do, didn't ever perform this one, unfortunately, either. So, would love to see Ace perform this one as well someday.
Number 4, Odyssey. I just love this orchestra, the orchestra arrangement in this song. It's just so melodic. It's just, I don't know. It's just something about the song. It just sets the pace to me at the moment on the album. I mean, I don't know. It just, to me, it's just one of those songs I can just listen to over and over. It's just a really good song. I mean, I'm a big sucker for it when it comes to orchestra music and stuff like that. I love classical music, and to hear this and hear Paul sing it the way he did, to me, it's just such a great song. So, it's my number 4.
Paul doesn't sing that.
What?
That was Lou Reed, wasn't it?
Sweet Jane.
At least nobody was the table on this album. So, my number 4, Fanfare / Just a Boy. I've actually always really liked this song, especially the intro. The intro on this was cool. I liked the little triangle thing with the real obvious bass things and the acoustic guitar. I get the song stuck in my head all the time, too. I don't know. I thought it was neat how Paul goes up into falsetto to, be the boy, singing as the boy. That was an interesting idea, I think.
Right there with you. It's my number 4 as well. Yeah, I mean, again, it seems like, with the last, 4 or 5 albums, there's like a song every time that I say this, but at one time this would have been my least favorite song, and it has definitely grown on me as well. I love the melody of the as he's getting into the chorus. I'm no hero. Like, I love that whole part, and yeah, I like the acoustic stuff on it and everything, and it really is one of my favorite Paul songs now. And, and I know they've teased it live here and there, kind of in a sort of joking manner, because, it is kind of cheesy and, laughable in a way, but hey, it's another great vocal performance, and, it's definitely standing into the test of time with me. It's, like I say, becoming maybe my top 10 Paul songs, maybe 20. We'll go with that, but
Nice. It would be extra laughable to hear Paul sing "I'm Just a Boy" at this point.
Oh my God!
Oh, wow.
So, like, real quick to completely jump off subject, did you guys hear that Gene took a shot at Paul's voice during one of his shows the other night?
No.
It's not what it was. I sure didn't want to think that's what it was.
Yeah, he had Ace out on the stage with him at the time, and I guess I think someone yelled something up about, why don't you sing this one or something, and he's like, oh, I can sing it. I can sing them all. You know, I just choose not to. And he said something like, you know, I don't lose my voice. My voice is always strong. And he kind of got a little quiet, but I heard him. He was like, Paul Stanley.
Wow.
He's like, my voice doesn't go out. Paul Stanley.
Holy crap. Yeah, I had not heard that one. That's ridiculous. But by the way, I meant just for the sake of Paul being super old. But
Well, yeah.
I mean, you can take it that way too.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Just a boy.
Yeah, that makes what I said seem like way more crappy. No, I wasn't talking about his bad voice. I was talking about him being old.
And the thing is, Paul will see this video, and there's going to be conflict. You watch it.
Crap.
You know, like I heard a comment, I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that next meeting between them two.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be nobody getting a Lamborghini bought then.
What, number 3?
Yeah.
Dark Light. Such a great Ace song. I mean, this is Ace. I mean, when this song came out, I mean, this is, to me, the only really true rockin' song on this whole album. And this is just Ace all over. I mean, right down to the breakdown, the solo, and the drums right there. I mean, you know this is a truly an Ace Frehley song, just all the way around. So that's my number 3.
Nice. My number 3 here is A World Without Heroes. And yeah, this song just always sort of caught me. It's catchy. I'm glad they did it on MTV Unplugged, because I wasn't expecting that. I don't know about you guys. That's one of the last songs I was expecting to hear them perform.
Right.
I didn't care too much for the performance of it on Fridays, I think it was. Not the one where they're lip syncing, but where they actually played it. Didn't care for it then. But yeah, this good Gene song without being the demon. You know what I mean? As far as his lighter songs, this is one of his better sang songs.
My number 3 is Mr. Blackwell. Love this song so much. It's definitely a good comparison. Speaking of World Without Heroes, you know, it's a great demon song versus that. To me, probably the best demon song he's done since Almost Human at this point.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just love that kind of mysterious creepiness of it, you know, with the whole intro. And then, you know, I love during the verse when, you know, you hear those little, like, scratches on the strings and stuff, like those little effects added like that. And, you know, I've always said, like, I wish they could have done this one live, because to me, this one would have been perfect to do the blood and all that stuff on, and, you know, like the whole, like, spotlight thing. But I understand why not, because it's such a, you know, slow-paced song, sort of, and it wouldn't translate well live. I understand all that, but it's so unfortunate at the same time. Like, like, I don't know, if the farewell tour or whatever this is, it'd be cool if he would just do it anyway, you know, just for the sake of it, and or maybe just do part of that and then go into God of Thunder or something. I don't know, but yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites on this album. It's so great and creepy and mysterious, and again, like we were saying, it's like, I just, you know, you kind of picture in your head like what this character really would look like, and it's like, I want to see it so bad, like, you know, give us something.
You're cold and mean, and in between, you're rotten to the core. You're not well, oh Mr. Blackwell, and we can tell. You're not well, oh Mr. Blackwell, why don't you go to hell? You're a victim of real disgrace. You should be banished from the human race.
Have you ever heard the cows right there in that break? There's cows mooing in the middle part of that song.
Is it really?
That's awesome.
No, I'm saying it sounds like cows in the part in the breakdown with the screen scratch. You listen. There's one part it says there's cows going. Brrr.
It is great.
Maybe that was all the groupies hanging out in the studio. Wow.
Now I'm starting to listen, so you'll hear what I'm talking about. There really is a part that sounds like cows. Because when I was like, did I really hear cows right there?
I will put that in right here. Top 2 already.
Yeah.
Number 2, Under the Rose. I really love this song. It's just so Gene. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean Paul. No, I mean Gene. Oh wait, Paul. I'm so confused. Anyway, it's such a good Gene song, and it's so dark, and I love the chorus where it's just like a band, a group of Mormons or whatever has come in, sung this chorus with him, and it's so deep and heavy, and I really do like this song.
It's the Amish farmers.
That's my number 2.
Yeah.
It's the Amish farmers that own the cows that are singing that with them.
Yeah.
Instead of Under the Rose, it's Building a Barn. Building a barn. Do 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 do.
Building a barn.
Yes. Well, I'll piggyback you there, Steve. That's my number 2 as well. Yeah, the same reason. That chorus is huge. I love it. I love the acoustic guitar thing. And the snare thing, that this song always gets me. Strange as it is, I decided to download this album legitimately. By the way, I downloaded this album, and it's the only thing that I've ever bought off iTunes. So it appeared on my phone, because I have an iPhone, even though I bought it on my computer. And it's the only music that's on my phone. It's just the music from The Elder. And so when we went to Los Angeles last year with Biogenesis, I listened to this album probably 7 times during the plane rides because it's the only thing I have. And yeah, every time I have a vivid memory of looking out the window of a freaking airplane going over Colorado, listening to Under the Rose and thinking, man, I love this song.
Yeah.
Where was you flying over when you heard the cows?
That would be Kansas, I think.
And just to clarify, by legitimately downloading, he means because he has actual internet now. That's what
Right,
it means.
exactly.
That's legitimate.
That's what it was.
And he did pay for it. He paid for it, too.
I paid for the crap out of it.
Oh gosh, number 2, The Oath. Nah, what really needs to be said about it? It's a great, well, in the case of the Wrong Sequence, opener. But yeah, it's one of them songs that you hear and you're like, okay, this is a little heavier. Maybe maybe the heaviest they had done at that time, really, to really think about it. And again, it's like, oh, the drums are lacking so much, because he's throwing double bass in there, and that's the first time you ever hear that in Kiss, and and I kind of do like how the toms sound, especially on this song when he's doing them little rolls on there, and the way those are tuned and the tone of them. I like how that stands out, but yeah, it's just like with that kick drum, it's like it just should be, and I'm not saying it needs to be like Creatures of the Night boomy, but it just, I wish it was there more, and it would help that song so much. But yeah, it's a great song. Of course, they pulled it out, at the cruises. That was a big shock, and now they kind of, in my opinion, they kind of run it into the ground because they always pull that one out now to be like the big surprise, and it's taken away the surprise of it. It's like, pull out something else that's off the Elder or whatever else, But yeah, I mean, just a killer song. Again, you got Gene doing the high parts, which I'm sure Paul told him to do, just like with I Was Made and all that stuff. Yeah, just shredding killer song. another good one for Ace to go out on. You know, definitely a stamp of approval on that.
Yeah.
I meant to mention earlier the song "Only You."
Hmm.
Have you guys ever heard the Doro Pesh version?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't think I have.
it's a little different, but
Well, not to mention, what?
I think the lyrics are different too.
Yeah.
Slightly different from the older version.
Well, not to mention World Without Heroes. Have you guys heard the Cher version?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
what?
It's actually pretty good. It's like one of the only Cher songs I like.
Wow.
I never heard it. I had to pull it up later.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I actually have the 45 of it too somewhere.
Wow.
Not bad at all.
Huh.
So we're down to number one.
Number one, The Oath. Just like you were saying, Eli, great opening to the album. A great rocking song next to Dark Light. I don't know, it was, like I said earlier, the first song you hear on here, and it's just like, you know, after going through Dynasty and Unmasked, it's like, yes, you know, you're thinking Kiss is back, this is awesome, and everything else, and then you get later on down the album, it's like, whoa, okay, what happened here? What's going on here? But, you know, this album, I just truly love this album. And it was just one of those I had to listen to a couple more times and take it in, and just like, you know what? They pulled it off. You know, to me, this album makes what Kiss is all about. I mean, Kiss never had to stay in a box. You know, they were always out to try to prove something, you know, like musically. You know, and they've done that. I mean, like you guys were talking about on the Unmasked episode. You know, they did it with Dynasty and Unmasked. They did it with Crazy Nights and Carnival of Souls. They've always seemed to weigh in when, you know, at the happening moments. But this album was a total, complete opposite from, or I don't think the world was ready for this by Kiss. You know what I mean? It was like such a big culture shock. And to me, this album has always been like the Rocky Horror Picture Show album of Kiss. You know what I mean? It's such a great album, and people don't get it. You know, like just like the movie, people don't get the movie, but it's like this album and this song just really just set it all off from the beginning.
I agree. And yeah, I mean, it was definitely one that had to take its time to grow on me as well. You know, when I was talking about, you know, back when I was buying all the CDs, you know, and when I'd get to the point that was the next one, I'm like, well, I need it though, you know, it's part of the discography, and I really didn't know anything off of it except maybe 2 songs, and it was just like, you know, and again with Asylum, and Asylum has grown on me so much too, like, to even go as far as saying it might be one of their heaviest albums. I mean, but yeah, I agree. I mean, everything about the album, it's definitely stood the test of time. It was ahead of its time. Maybe if it had come out, you know, 90s or even today for that matter, it might have done a lot better.
Yeah, maybe.
And like many people say, even if a different band had done it, same song, same arrangement, same mix even, it may have been received better. But yeah, just because it was Kiss and nobody was expecting it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, you go from The Oath, like, and then all of a sudden you hear Cows, and you're like, what the heck?
They're really going for something different. Well, my number one is also The Oath. Basically the same. It's the big rocker for me of the album. This has always been my favorite song off this album. An old band even covered it. I think I've talked a little bit about one of my really, really good friends who is not a Kiss fan at all, loves this song. So, you know, I think that says something for it too.
Have you heard Arch Enemy do it yet?
No.
Oh yeah, check it out, Arch Enemy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you heard Cher's version of it?
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, my number one is I. And yeah, this song's cheesy as all get out, but man, the message behind it it's awesome. It's one of them songs that, you know, the lyrics truly got to me and spoke to me as far as, you know, don't need to get wasted, it only holds me down. Spot on. That's one of the best messages Kiss ever talks about.
Yep.
Sure.
You know, this, you know, is right there with Rock and Roll Night, Shout It Out Loud as far as like the anthems.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this one didn't get as big, but yeah, I mean, it's good. Again, you know, and finding out it's not Eric on there is unfortunate, but needless to say, it is a fun song to play. And again, how cheesy it could be, you know, the middle part with the snapping and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, you know, just need the will of my own and the balls to stand alone, all that. You know, there's just so many good messages with it. And, you know, that's definitely one of those that stick in my mind when I think of, you know, quotes or lyrics that really speak to me about what Kiss really stands for and has helped me to stay away from that kind of stuff, you know, whether it was just those lyrics going through my head or the fear of my father or something like that. But so yeah, it was good to see him pull it back out on the cruise, and I wouldn't mind seeing him doing it again. But that is my number one. So, and that wraps up for the Elder. So now we'll get rankings.
Yeah. Oh no. Steve, come back.
He's gone.
He froze.
I think he had a seizure because he's just like frozen on my screen.
Oh.
Oh God, we lost Steve.
Oh no. Oh no. Where did he go?
Well, apparently once again Steve didn't agree with our choices, so
Yeah.
he has left us.
Geez, Steve.
Give us a chance.
Come back. You're
So-
back.
All right, now let's get into the ranking of the album. What do you give it, Steve?
Like I said, I love this album for everything it stands for, and yeah, definitely for them to have the balls to do this album. I'm gonna have to give it a. I have to give it a 6. I'll give it a 6.
Nice. I gave this one an overall of 7 out of 10. And yeah, this is up there for me among my favorite Kiss albums of all time. Just again, I've always been a fan of the progressive rock thing. I've always been a huge fan of concept albums, so I think this one, as far as nostalgia goes, has a little bit more for me, just because I was drawn to it because it was a concept album. Where it falls short of being higher than 7 for me is in that concept. I think the songs are cool. I think them going in the different direction musically is cool. But I just can't follow the story well enough to feel like it really is a concept album beyond the songs kind of tying together a little, you know?
Yeah, that's why I listen to the Japanese import more than anything, just because it's in the right order.
Right.
And it's a lot pleasant to listen to than, you know, the other version they came out with.
And that's something too, is like, was the record company that clueless that they purposely sequenced it that way? I don't understand how that even came about. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, that goes back to the Dynasty album. When I first got the Dynasty album, side 1 on my record was Charisma.
no kidding.
Yeah. When really side 1 is I Was Made for Loving You.
Yeah. That is
Labeled
crazy.
correct.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone that had a copy like that.
Yeah, that's the way mine is.
Wow.
And now that I'm thinking about it, the Destroyer album I have does not have Rock and Roll Party at the end. And I remember when I first got the CD, when CDs first came out, and I bought it, and Do You Love Me, It's Fading Out, and all at once I hear all this. I'm like, what is that? It was the first time I'm like, what is this? I had never heard that before until I found out later. Well, that was always on the Destroyer album. It was never on mine. Never on mine.
That's interesting.
That is weird.
I'm going to also give this one a 6 as well. Mainly for the production value. Again, you know, it's almost painful to the ears of the way it sounds. You know, especially drum wise. You know, it's one that maybe I don't listen to it as much. Kind of similar with Hotter Than Hell because of the production. Even though I love both albums and a bunch of the songs, but it's one that every time I look at Elder, it's like immediately I think of that drum sound, and it's like, it's just hard to do. But and going off of being that I listened to that original vinyl version being out of sequence, that's another reason that I give it a 6 for that particular listen, based on how out of order the songs are, and hearing Mr. Blackwell coming in at the end, and it just cuts out suddenly and goes to something else, and I think there was a few other points in the album that it did something like that, but yeah, it's gonna be a 6 for me.
Now Eli's left. Come back.
Never. You'll never see me come back to the podcast.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, the Netherlands copy weird. No gatefold. And then the actual sleeve is what the gatefold is on the other one.
Oh.
See, the record's in there. It's weird.
Wow.
But no poster. If anybody has one of those posters out there, feel free to send me one.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, if anyone does, I would love to make a trade or buy it or something. Just please let me know. I'm looking for one bad. I need it.
Now, I've heard stories too. Is it not that Paul's hand on the album cover?
I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
For some reason, he likes to deny it and say it's not, but I'm pretty positive it is.
Yeah.
Because, there's even that one photo that came out of him, like, standing at the door and, hiding his face, and
Right.
kind of that play on things, I think.
All right, so that means the results are in, and we only ended up with one tie here, and that is for Dead Last. So our Dead Last tie in 9th place is Only You and Escape from the Island. Yeah. In 8th place for this album, Fanfare / Just a Boy. 7th place, Odyssey. 6th place, Mr. Blackwell. 5th place, I. In 4th place, the incomparable Paul Stanley with Under the Rose. And our top 3 for this album, in the number 3 spot, A World Without Heroes. In the number 2 spot, Dark Light. And our number 1, The Oath.
Wow.
Once again, Paul gets the top nod.
Yeah. I think that's going to become a norm over the next several episodes. And then we ended up with a 6.25 out of 10 stars for the overall ranking. Of course, that's probably going to change slightly because I'm sure Jay is going to give his input for this album. Among any of the rest of you that want to send in your rankings, of course. But yeah, wow. Gives us for the first time in a long time, nobody got 2 medals. Paul got 1, Ace got the second one, and Gene got the third. So that's always nice when you see it kind of spread out evenly among the different members. Yeah, nobody's going to catch up with Paul. I think I've said this a million times, my personal prediction, Paul is going to end up with by far the most amount of medals when this is all said and done.
Oh,
Gene
yeah.
was the only one who even had a chance of catching up, and I think he's already fallen too far behind to do so.
Right.
Music from the Elder with a 6.25 does not put it too good. That might put it in second to last place.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, for sure. With only Peter behind him, Jay's ranking on Hotter Than Hell did kick that one up to a 7 out of 10, whereas it was a 6, so it is no longer tied for last place with Hotter Than Hell, which makes me feel, or with Peter, Chris, I mean, makes me feel a lot better, because that didn't make any sense at all, you know? Those two albums to be at the bottom of the list and tied.
Only Peter.
Yes. So, Love Gun still in the numero uno spot with a 9.42. Let me take a look. I believe Alive coming in with 9.17 after that. We got some other stuff up there, I'm sure. Oh, yeah, Ace at 9.06 in third place at the moment. So, yeah, we are shaping up here. This is what, week 16 or something?
It's 16, I believe.
So we're more or less in the middle now, because we have 33 planned albums to review. So, it's going to get interesting here coming up.
Absolutely. And, of course, coming up next week is Killers, another kind of different one in the vein of Double Platinum, more of a greatest hits album, but they included the 4 newer tracks at the time, and
yes,
that one's going to be pretty interesting to see how those all rank compared to some of the classics. And listening to that one again recently too, I noticed there's a few differences on edits of the songs as far as certain endings, or like say Detroit Rock City. Other than the Double Platinum version, I like this version of it as well, because it starts off where you just hear the car revving, and then it goes into the intro. Like, that was pretty cool.
Right. I'm definitely going to have to give that one a listen again, because I have no memory of what's different about the songs that are repeats, but I have to say I have always loved those 4 new songs.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the old ones are going to top those 4 for me. Prediction-wise.
I was debating that myself, because I was going into it long ago thinking, I'm just gonna rank all the old ones, and then those 4 are gonna be my top 4. But now I'm like, I don't know though. Like, how do I really rank them with those classics? That'll be the interesting thing.
Right.
So tune in, same fat time, same fat channel next week.
Mm-hmm. But with less mosquito bites and less cows.
And we will see Steve back for Creatures, right?
Yes, Creatures.
Creatures. Cannot wait for that one.
Yes.
But Killers is going to be a good episode next week too, so please get your input in for that as well as always. Again, we appreciate all the input. Again, we appreciate subscribers. Noticed we've gained a few more here and there. So please keep spreading the word. And we're going to get out of here. Steve, you got to go to practice.
Yeah.
How far are you from practice?
About 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, better speed. Speed, live practice.
All right, then. So, until next week, we will see you guys later.
See you guys.